Alphonse Daudet, French novelist and playwright, famous for his bright, often comic stories from the life of the southern regions. The best way to instill your thought in others is to convince them that it is their own thought. When the soul is not cheerful, it is painful to look at someone else's happiness. If you are loved, then you do not need other worries. Only those shortcomings that you yourself have are successfully ridiculed. Humanity is so old. You always have to follow in someone's footsteps. To comfort is to claim retribution in kind. Our era is dangerously played with printing forces that are worse than explosives. The driest hearts are always easier to ignite. Vanity is carried with them like a bag of money. Pride, on the contrary, is carried in itself. Contempt is a mask that hides behind nothingness, sometimes mental squalor. Contempt is a sign of a lack of kindness, intelligence, and understanding of people. We love things, but they don't reciprocate. It's not fair. Hatred is the anger of the weak. Ah, the experience of feeling. How it interferes with feeling. The days are so long and the years are so short. Act, act. It is better to cut wood than to dream. At least the blood will not stagnate in the veins. A Southerner doesn't lie, he's wrong. He doesn't always tell the truth, but he thinks he's telling it. Oh, the great cup of popularity, it's sweet to drink from it, but how hard it is when it capsizes. What is the thirst for fame? Who has known fame at least once, he can no longer live without it. When God wants to create great poets, he chooses 2 or 3 and sends them great suffering. We will try to correct with the help of literature the evil caused by literature. Suffering equalizes everyone, old and young. In carnal love, there is no place for reverence and respect for the beloved being, which is why it awakens the beast in a person, no matter whether he is overcome by anger or a rush of passion. Style embalms a literary work. For me, the novel is the story of people who will never go down in history. When I create, I experience painful, incomparable joy. A real home is only in modest families. Fortunately, childhood is guarded by spiritual purity, like a glaze on which all the dirt flows. Ambition loves a narrow space. A high-ranking man, an all-powerful upstart, will not be as pleased with a grand triumph as a petty satisfaction of vanity in a certain place, on the corner of the village street on which he was born. It is so terrible to live in an atmosphere of ill will, in eternal fear, always alert, always angry, ready to fight back. Living together, when everything is divided in half and a piece of bread and a bed, forms a lot of invisible thin threads, the strength of which becomes palpable only if you try to break them, and without pain, without a break in the soul, you will not be able to do this. Thanks to the power of communication, the power of habit, people acquire the miraculous property of mutual influence, reaching the point that two beings who have lived together for a long time eventually begin to resemble each other. It is impossible to explain to the public enough how much effort, how much hidden work lies in the art of the actor, which looks so accessible and easy. Any truth, once it is expressed, loses its certainty, approaches a lie. Over how many private libraries could be labeled, as on pharmacy bottles, for external use? Be afraid of someone who smiles before you start talking. Great actors don't die from disease or old age. They cease to exist when they are no longer applauded. At 60 years old, damn it, men are more straight than at 30, because at that age men are watching themselves, and women are cutting into them, because their heart is young, and it warms, and it lives the whole composition. The most beautiful thing in the world is to be simple and straightforward, like you, and even that everyone was 20 years old, and to love each other very much. If anyone doubts that love can blossom amidst mourning and tears, I will advise him to go to the cemetery and see how many lovely flowers grow on the graves. These volatile, perpetually risky natures live the present day of their love. They don't remember the past, they don't fear the future. My friends, do not despise anyone. Contempt is a trump card in the hands of upstarts, poseurs, freaks, and fools, a mask behind which hides nothingness and sometimes meanness, and which covers up the lack of intelligence, one's own opinion and kindness.